3 days before Thanksgiving, my mother's text lit up my phone. Don't bother coming. You're not welcome here anymore. I stared at the message, sitting in my private office overlooking the Pacific Ocean. Below, guests lounged by infinity pools and strolled along pristine beaches, enjoying the exclusive Paradise Cove resort. My resort, though my family didn't know that. The irony would have been funny if it didn't hurt so much. Another text followed. We'll be arriving at Paradise Cove tomorrow as usual. At least we still have our special place even if you've ruined everything else. Their special place. The luxury resort where the Morrison family had spent every Thanksgiving and Christmas for the past 20 years. The place where they'd made me feel like an outsider since I was 16. I picked up my desk phone. Sarah, please pull up the Morrison family's permanent booking records. Already done, Ms. Morrison, my assistant replied. Your parents and siblings are scheduled to arrive tomorrow for their annual 2-week Thanksgiving stay. The usual beachfront villas, all amenities included. I closed my eyes, remembering last Thanksgiving. The moment everything changed. Did you really think we'd support this? My father had demanded, waving my proposal in the air. Using family money to help homeless shelters and rehabilitation centers? The Morrison Foundation supports proper charities, opera houses, art museums, places that reflect our standing in society. People are suffering, Dad, I'd argued. We have the resources to make real change. You're just like your Aunt Margaret, my mother had sniffed. Always trying to help the wrong sort of people. Aunt Margaret. My father's sister, who'd been ostracized from the family for similar reasons 20 years ago. The same aunt who'd secretly helped me buy Paradise Cove Resort when it went up for sale last year. The foundation's money isn't for common people, my sister Victoria had declared. Really, Olivia, sometimes I wonder if you were switched at birth. My brother Peter had smirked. Let her waste her own money on lost causes. Oh wait, she doesn't have any. They had no idea that while they were mocking my bleeding heart ideas, I was quietly building my own empire. Paradise Cove was just the latest acquisition in a portfolio that included hotels, resorts, and charitable foundations across 3 continents. The family's special place was actually mine. My phone buzzed again. A photo from Victoria. The family gathered in their mansion, planning their Paradise Cove trip. Too bad you'll be spending Thanksgiving alone. Maybe you can volunteer at one of your precious homeless shelters. I smiled, thinking of the changes I'd implemented at Paradise Cove over the past year. The sustainable practices that had cut costs while protecting the environment. The employee education program that had improved service and satisfaction. The discreet homeless rehabilitation program running in the resort's quieter seasons. All changes my family had failed to notice during their visits, too absorbed in their own privilege. Sarah, I called, please connect me to Manager Stevens. Right away, Ms. Morrison. James Stevens, Paradise Cove's manager, answered immediately. Ms. Morrison, what can I do for you? The Morrison family reservation for tomorrow. Ah yes, your family's annual visit. Though they don't know you're the owner, of course. Everything is prepared to their usual specifications. I thought about my mother's text. About 20 years of being made to feel less than. About last Thanksgiving's final rejection. Cancel it. Silence on the line. The entire reservation. Every villa. Every amenity. Everything. But Ms. Morrison, they've been coming here for 20 years. They're one of our oldest. I own Paradise Cove, James. And I'm telling you to cancel their reservation. More silence then. Yes, ma'am. Should I inform them personally? No, I smiled. I'll handle that myself. I hung up and pulled up my mother's text thread. For a moment, my finger hovered over the keyboard. Was I really going to do this? Another text from Victoria popped up. Just packed my designer swimsuits. Can't wait for another perfect Paradise Cove Thanksgiving. You know, where successful people belong. Decision made. I typed, actually Paradise Cove just called. Your reservation has been cancelled. 3 dots appeared immediately. What? That's impossible. We have a permanent booking. Not anymore. My phone started ringing. I let it go to voicemail. Victoria, Dad's calling the manager right now. This is ridiculous. I waited, knowing exactly what would happen next. Within minutes, my father's name appeared on my screen, followed by a text. The manager says the cancellation came from the owner. This is outrageous. We're one of their most loyal customers. I took a deep breath and typed, yes, the owner did cancel your reservation. In fact, she's canceling your permanent booking status entirely. Mom, she? Since when does a woman own Paradise Cove? My hands were steady as I typed the words that would change everything. Since last year. When I bought it. Silence. Then my phone exploded with notifications. Dad, what are you talking about? Victoria, stop lying. Peter, this isn't funny, Olivia. I opened my desk drawer and pulled out the Paradise Cove ownership documents. Snapped a photo. Sent it. More silence. Then from my mother, this is impossible. You don't have that kind of money. You work for some small nonprofit. I laughed out loud. They still thought I worked at a local charity, never bothering to learn that I'd built a successful hospitality group focused on sustainable luxury and social impact. Check the documents, Mom. Paradise Cove is mine. Your special place belongs to the daughter you just uninvited from Thanksgiving. My office phone buzzed. Ms. Morrison? Your father is on the main line demanding to speak to the owner. I smiled. Put him through, Sarah. It's time for a family reunion. Sometimes karma arrives in the form of cancelled reservations. Olivia. My father's voice was strangled. What have you done? Nothing yet, I replied calmly. But I think it's time we had a conversation about family, privilege, and consequences. Would you like to have it over the phone, or would you prefer to meet in person? I have a lovely office overlooking the ocean. You know, at the resort you thought you owned a piece of. The silence that followed was 20 years in the making. An hour later, I watched my family file into my office like chastened schoolchildren. Gone was their usual arrogance, replaced by a mixture of shock, anger, and, most surprisingly, fear. Please sit, I gestured to the plush chairs facing my desk. Through the floor-to-ceiling windows behind me, Paradise Cove stretched out in all its glory. How? My father demanded, ignoring the chair. How did you afford this place? I leaned back, enjoying the role reversal. You never bothered to check what I was really doing, did you? Too busy mocking my bleeding heart ideas to notice I was building something. Building what? Victoria snapped, but her voice trembled slightly. Morrison Hospitality Group, I replied calmly. 15 luxury resorts across 3 continents. All sustainable, all profitable, all combining luxury with social impact. My mother sank into a chair, her perfectly maintained facade cracking. 15 resorts? But you work at a homeless shelter. No, Mom. I partner with homeless shelters, rehabilitation centers, and education programs through my resorts. Paradise Cove alone has helped 300 people get back on their feet through our discreet employment program. This is ridiculous, Peter cut in. You're making this up. Show us proof. I pressed a button on my desk phone. Sarah, please bring in the portfolio summary. My assistant entered with a thick folder, distributing copies to my stunned family members. They flipped through pages of financial statements, property deeds, and impact reports. $6 billion in assets, my father whispered, his face pale. Profit margins 40% above industry standard. Turns out social responsibility is good for business, I said. Who knew? Victoria threw her copy on my desk. Fine. You're rich. Congratulations. But this petty revenge, canceling our reservation. Petty. I stood up slowly. Like uninviting me from Thanksgiving? Like 20 years of mockery and exclusion? Like rejecting every idea I had because it didn't fit your narrow view of what matters. We're family, my mother pleaded. Family. I laughed. Was it family when you cut off Aunt Margaret for the same reasons? When you mocked her dedication to helping others? They flinched at Margaret's name. My father's sister, the other family outcast who'd seen potential where they saw weakness. Speaking of Aunt Margaret, I continued, pressing another button on my phone, would you like to say hello? The large screen on my wall flickered to life, revealing my aunt's smiling face. Hello, brother dear. Quite a surprise, isn't it? My father staggered back. Margaret? You're part of this. I helped Olivia buy Paradise Cove, she said proudly. I recognized in her what you all missed: vision, compassion, and brilliant business sense. You helped her take our special place away, my mother accused. Your special place? Aunt Margaret's laugh was cold. The place where you made her feel unwelcome for 20 years? Where you flaunted your privilege while she was building something meaningful. We can sue, Peter threatened weakly. We have permanent booking rights. Check your contracts, I suggested. They expired last month. I didn't renew them. Silence fell over the office. Outside, waves crashed against pristine beaches. Paradise continued, indifferent to the drama unfolding in my office. What do you want? My father finally asked. Want? I stood and walked to the window. I want you to understand what you've missed. Not just about me but about what success really means. I turned back to face them. Paradise Cove isn't just a luxury resort. We've created programs that have helped hundreds of people rebuild their lives. We've implemented sustainable practices that have become industry standards. We're proving that profit and purpose can coexist. And we're supposed to just accept this? Victoria demanded. Accept that you're right and we're wrong? No, I replied. You're supposed to learn from it. To understand that your way isn't the only way. That success can mean more than just money and status. I pressed another button and photos appeared on the screen. People graduating from our training programs. Families moving into homes they'd saved for while working at our resorts. Children attending the schools we'd built in resort communities. This is success, I said quietly. This is what you couldn't see. My father sat heavily in a chair, looking suddenly old. I was wrong, he whispered. The words hung in the air, 20 years in the making. We all were, my mother added, tears smearing her perfect makeup. Victoria and Peter remained silent, but their usual arrogance had crumbled. So what happens now? Peter finally asked. I sat back behind my desk. That depends on you. Paradise Cove is still hosting Thanksgiving dinner tomorrow. Not just for guests, but for our employees and their families. For the people in our programs. For anyone who needs a place to belong. I met each of their eyes. You're welcome to join us. Not as privileged guests but as people willing to learn, to understand, to change. You'd still have us? My mother asked. After everything? This was never about revenge, I explained. It's about transformation. About showing you what's possible when you open your hearts to something bigger than yourselves. Aunt Margaret smiled from the screen. Your daughter built something extraordinary, James. Something that would make your parents proud, not because of the profit but because of the purpose. My father stood slowly. We need time to process all this. Take it, I said. But remember, Thanksgiving dinner is at 6 tomorrow. If you come ready to see Paradise Cove through new eyes. They filed out quietly, shoulders slumped, worlds shaken. As the door closed behind them, Aunt Margaret spoke. You did it, sweetheart. You changed everything. I smiled at my aunt's image. We did it. Thank you for believing in me when they couldn't. They'll come tomorrow, she predicted. Their pride is wounded, but their eyes are finally opening. He was right. The next evening my family arrived at Paradise Cove, not in their usual luxury cars, but in modest rentals. They joined our Thanksgiving celebration, sitting among employees, program participants and other guests. They listened to stories of lives changed. They saw the impact of the programs they'd once mocked. They began to understand. Victoria now runs our education initiatives. Peter manages community outreach. Even my parents have embraced the new Paradise Cove, proudly telling friends about their daughter's vision. Last week, a journalist asked me why I didn't just ban my family completely. Why give them a chance to change? I showed her a photo from last Thanksgiving, my family serving meals, talking with guests, finally part of something bigger than themselves. Sometimes, I told her, the best revenge isn't about punishment. It's about transformation. Paradise Cove continues to thrive, not just as a luxury resort, but as a place where privilege meets purpose. Where family means more than blood or status. Where success is measured in lives changed, not just profits earned. And every Thanksgiving we celebrate together. Not as the old Morrison family bound by pride and prejudice, but as something new. Something better. Sometimes it takes losing paradise to find something more precious. Understand